Perek Tetzayin. So the pasuk says, where's Vayomer Shemuel Yishai Itamu Na'arim? So he brings his 7 sons to Shemuel and Navi. And Yishai and Shemuel says, what? He finished all the boys. Is there more boys? Vayomer Od Shara Katan. V'ine Roeh Bason. He says, listen, there's one more. He's tending to the sheep. ויאמר שמואל אל ישי, שלך וקחנו כי לא נסוב עד בואו. He says, I'm not going to leave, and we're not going to eat until he arrives. So they went and they brought him. וישלח ויביאו, והוא אדמוני. עם יפה עיניים וטוב רואי. ויאמר השם, קום משחהו, כי זהו. He came, he was ruddy, he was like red-haired. יפה עיניים, with fair eyes. It looked nice. And Hashem told Shemuel, listen, now you gotta go. You gotta go and take this person. He's gonna be the king. This is him. So all of the brothers, they were much better looking and much stronger and taller than David. And he was not the first option. But in the end, Akaton, the one that was little, Hashem says, this is the one I chose. Why? So what does it mean he was small? Does it mean he literally was a short guy? So the sages tell us that really David HaMelech made himself small. He was always humble. Even though he was 30 years old in that time, at this time that this happened, he still called himself a katan. He held himself a katan. Why? Because he's the youngest. Also a katan because everybody made him katan. He was repulsive in a lot of people's eyes, right? The sages tell us he would prophesy. David HaMelech was a Navi also. He would prophesy that he was going to go and do great things like kill Goliath, build Bet HaMikdash. He'd tell his father would tell him, listen, what are you talking about? Go work, go do the sheep. What are you telling us these chalamot already? You have too much free time in your hands. Go work. So therefore, they called him, he made himself a katan because everybody looked at him like he's going to be a nothing. He's going to be a katan. He's not going to be something gadol. He thought he's gadol, but they think he's katan. He also, the Torah calls him, what's it called? Really also the Katan, you could say also the sages tell us, because really he wasn't supposed to be alive. He was supposed to die when he was Katan. He was supposed to die when he was a baby. And Adam Rishon gave him 70 years from his own life, right? The question is, why did Adam Rishon do that? Because he knew Mashiach is going to come from David. And really, there was a big argument in Shamayim if David HaMelech should come to the world or not. The Arizal writes Shar Gilgulim. Then whenever it needs to bring big neshama to the world, the klipa doesn't let. Sitra Achra always prevents, says, listen, it's too much good, he's going to make too many people chazer b'tshuva, it's not a balance, you'd always need a balance between good and evil. So Sitra Achra always doesn't let. So the word for, what does HaKadosh Baruch Hu do? He brings, the Arizal says, that's why Avraham Avinu was born to parents who have day of Dazara. In order that it should be even, the klipa is going to say, okay, he's going to have parents of Dazara, let him go. So over here you can say the same thing also. That the Klipa didn't allow David HaMelech Neshama to come. He was supposed to only live a certain amount. And then Adam Rishon did a tikkun for this. He went out of his way and he gave him 70 years. No, he should have a life. He should do. And 70 years, really, 7 is connected to Malchut. Right? What does it say? It says, Im Gevurot Shana Shmonim Shana. If a person has mightiness, or 80 years. But if he only has a regular life, so 70 years, 7 Sfirot, Malchut, 70 years. So then he calls also called Admoni. Shmuel saw David, what did he say? He says that he's Admoni, he's red, he's going to shed blood like Esav. This David HaMelech. Now, what does that mean, shed blood? The Gemara says anybody who's born on a certain day has certain, character traits. And the question is, can you use them for good or for not? The person who was born on a certain day, for example, I think it's Wednesday, he loves to see blood. So therefore what? He's going to be shahet, or he's going to be a murderer. He's going to be moed, or he's going to be Haz Shalom, a soldier in the army. He needs to see people dying, It's his nature. He's very mighty like that. So therefore, same thing over here. Esav could have used it for good. David HaMelech is going to use it. He's only going to kill with the consent of Sanhedrin. Also means that he's very connected to someone who's bloody, which means the blood is running through his veins, meaning he's very passionate about what he's doing. We know David HaMelech was very passionate serving HaKadosh Baruch Hu with Tehillim and was singing to Hashem and doing very, very high-level mitzvot and going out of his way tremendously, fighting against his lusts. So that's also something that he's called Admoni about. Okay, fine. Now the pasuk says, "Vayikach Shemuel et keren hashemen," Yimashach oto. He went and he anointed him. Bekerev achiv v'tislach ruach Hashem al David ma'yom ha'u ma'ala vayikam Shemuel vayilech Ramata. Hashem had good spirit on David, and then he becomes anointed. And after this, ruach Hashem Sara me'im Shaul va'atatu v'ruach Ra met Hashem. So now he was tormented by a spirit of melancholy. So over here, the Mfarshim say, what is this? Why did Shaul all of a sudden get Ruach Ra? So it says over here, the sages say that because when a person's body is dead, his soul leaves. So now what happens? He has Ruach that was with him, it left, so now all the Klippa wants to attach that because he used to have holiness there. It's like you have a jar of honey, you take the honey out, so all the ants, they come to lick the leftovers, whatever was there. So the Klippa, the same thing. When the Neshama leaves the body at night, so all the Klippa, the Sitra Achra, the evil forces, they want to attach to the body where there used to be a soul, in order to lick for whatever is left over there. So the same thing over here, when Shaul was filled with Kedusha, so no evil spirits could attach to him. But then once he messed up, he did a sin, and now David officially became the king. So now he lost that greatness that he had as a king. So now all the Klippa went in. He had to overcome it, but a lot of Klippa went into him. A lot of evil spirit went into him. And therefore he's going to ask, he hired David HaMelech to play music for him. We know that at that time that the Nevi'im, they used to have to get to a high level of joy in order to experience Nevuah. So they used to bring a lot of Simchat Bet HaShoyah, the people used to be in Mitnabeh. So he wanted to go and get himself to that level of joy and connection to Hashem. So he used to bring David to play music for him. But the point is that it says it's melancholy. They translate it as melancholy, Ruach Ra, depression, sadness. You ask him, why are you so down? He always looks at everything negative and he feels down. He feels like I can't. This is Ruach Ra. A person's not supposed to think like that. A person, naturally, Neshama has emunah. You wake up, you didn't make money yesterday, you wake up the next day, you think today is a different day, I'm going to make money, today's a new bracha, Baruch Hashem, yom yom. That's naturally, a person has hope. Naturally, a person looks and he thinks things will be better. A person who thinks negative, that means he has Ruach Ra. It's not normal to think like that. Why everything negative? I can't, I'm not going to, my life stinks, why is that like this, why is it like that? Something's wrong with you. Some klippa is on you that you think like that. You're supposed to break out of that. And we see that that's how Shaul felt. Shaul felt very, very depressed. And that's sign Ruach Ra. The Yisrael Mekubalim write the same thing. Baruch atah Adonai. I see the Mekubalim, they write the same thing about a person who does drugs. A person who has these experiences, let's say marijuana or even more intense things. Where you go, there's the people who take psychedelics. They go on this trip, right? So I spoke to some of these guys. They tell me, listen, my third eye opens. I can see things. I see the angels, the demons. I see there's spiritual worlds we don't know about. I learned a lot about the universe and what? Yeah. They see a lot of things. You say, Rabbi, this is good stuff. Now when the rabbis talk about the worlds, the spiritual worlds, the olamot, I know what they're talking about. I connect better to it. The seraphim and this, I understand. So then listen, all these things, where'd you get this ruach from? In the Torah, in life, you get things from the good side, you get things from the bad side. Nothing in the life is for free. Nothing. So if you get an experience like this, that you're talking like as if you're some Navi who saw spiritual things, it must be that you're going to pay for this also. You understand? So therefore, the Mekubalim say when a person has this vision from these drugs, where does he get it from? It's from a Sitra Achra. Hashem made it. There's certain plants and certain elements in the world that they're connected to certain spirits, and if you attach to them, so then you're going to experience the Ruach Ra that they possess, and therefore, just because you got a vision doesn't mean it's good. Could be there's let's say white magic. There's also black magic. There's a rabbi giving a bracha, And then you can go to a Khaldun, you can go to a sorcerer, Chas v'shalom, Kosem, and he can also make you a bracha. There's Tov and there's Ra. So everybody has to know that you have to, just because you got a vision doesn't mean it's coming from a good place, you know. And a lot of these people, they say, no, it's good because they want to continue doing this. They want to continue using the substance. So therefore they try to say, it helps me learn better, it helps me pray better. And the Torah doesn't want that. The Torah says, be in your da'at. Be conscious on your own. Don't be talui b'davar. Don't be dependent on something. Don't be handicapped. You know, they say, oh, well, alcohol is the same thing. Alcohol is not the same thing. You're not allowed to get drunk. The Rambam Perek Dalet in Chodeo, it says he says a person who's shoteh to become shikor, is a choteh, the Rambam says. So to be in this lofty la state, it's not necessarily a mitzvah. It's not necessarily an opposite. For example, they say, oh, but the Breslovers, they all smoke marijuana. First of all, it's not true. Go learn by big people. Go learn by the real Breslovers. They don't smoke these things. And even Rabbi Nachman himself wrote that he had tuberculosis. He was dying, and they told him you should take the cannabis plant because it's going to help you for the treatment, and he refused. He says this is a plant that's arora. It's a cursed plant. I'd rather not take it at all. Even though he was suffering, he was dying, he didn't want to take it. Why? Because he knows that these things attach you to certain things. You know, there's people who smoke so much marijuana they become schizophrenic. Schizophrenic means you hear spirits, you hear voices. Who are these voices? It's spirits, it's Ruach Ra that's talking to you, telling you, oh, push this guy in front of the train. Oh, go and steal from him. Go and push him. Go here and bother him. You speak to you see how people do weird things. You read on the news, people do such weird, interesting things. Why? Because some of them they have suffered from this. So therefore that's what the sages, the Mekubanim, say. This that happened also to Shaul. The Ruach Ra over here that made Shaul lost his mind. Shaul lost his mind, and it's from this Ruach Ra. But he didn't smoke something over here. The problem is he lost the Kedusha, and he allowed the depression to get to him, and this brought a lot of klipa on him. The person has to be very careful not to think negative, because you bring all this negativity to yourself. Baruch Amen.